Hello, everyone, and welcome to Digitate's webinar series. My name is Avi Bhagtani, and I run marketing here at Digitate. Today, I'm joined by Rahul Kelkar, Digitate's Chief Product Officer, and together we will spend the next 45 minutes or so and walk you through our latest release offering that's called Flamingo. But first, a quick glance at Digitate and our journey so far. We are headquartered in Santa Clara, California, and we were founded in 2015 with a vision to apply AI and automation to transform enterprises to become autonomous. Since then, we have acquired over 250 enterprise Global 2000 customers, and we are recognized as an industry leader by leading analysts in many categories that include categories such as AIOps. We have over 100 patents across AI, intelligent automation, and knowledge engineering. And we are highly rated by our customers across review sites such as G2 and Gartner Peer Insights. Let me start the context. Let me start by setting the context and give you a view of the current enterprise IT landscape. Though many tools exist in the market, IT operations continue to remain largely manual. Most of these tools out there are monitoring tools that aggregate data from different sources into a BI-like system. They do not provide the insights or intelligence into the data, making the analysis of some of this very manual with a human-first, human-centric approach. Though some event management, RVA, and RPA tools provide a level of automation, it is mostly rules-based and restricted to event and incident management. The result is manual operations that remain slow and require a lot of experts to root cause and resolve the issues. At Digitate, we believe that enterprises must become autonomous, and we have built an industry-first platform called Ignio that uses AI and intelligent automation to transform IT and business operations. Ignio applies insights and intelligence to data across the IT and business estate and adopts a machine-first approach that uses artificial intelligence and machine learning to identify behavioral patterns and accordingly recommend actions and remediations. Ignio then combines human-in-the-loop reasoning with intelligent automation to close the loop, thereby transforming the operations from manual to autonomous. By intelligently diagnosing issues and providing predictions, we can isolate and fix issues autonomously before they impact business resiliency and customer experience. More recently, we did an IT survey, and what we found out in the survey that we conducted was that 26% of the leaders have indicated that they will transition their IT operations to autonomous in the next 5 years. Our Ignio platform uses a three-faceted approach and offers a secure SaaS platform that integrates observability, intelligent insights, and closed-loop automation. So we can help enterprises materialize their vision of becoming autonomous. With Ignio's observability capabilities, organizations can get complete visibility and control across their hybrid and multi-cloud environments. And they can also monitor their entire horizontal stack along with observing key KPIs across business functions and business transactions. The Ignio platform also has a repository of AI algorithms that provide intelligent predictions and actionable recommendations to triage and isolate across a wide range of potential problems. Ignio's pre-built library of automations can then close the loop by proactively fixing issues before they can negatively impact IT and business. Our single platform approach provides an end-to-end lifecycle management across IT and business, from triaging all the way to automated resolution, if you choose it, it has been adopted by many of the leading enterprises across the globe. Our latest release, Flamingo, expands our offerings across all three of our major capabilities. We have expanded unified observability with adaptive capabilities, bolstered our automation offerings with GenAI, and introduced an industry-leading concept of powering ticketless operations with AI-powered predictions. For the remaining part of the webinar, we will walk you through some of these key capabilities and why we truly believe that they are game changing in the context of the industry. I'll bring Rahul in now. Rahul, let's start with observability and some of the challenges that enterprises encounter. We know a lot of monitoring tools exist out there, but we also believe that they exist in silos. Some native tools provide islands of intelligence and insights, but we believe they continue to be disjointed and disconnected. Then you need to bring in the experts that can decipher this disconnected data. Also, the offerings in the market that are available do not adapt their observability based on the insights and intelligence across their enterprise. Rahul, would you agree with this? And we'll be very curious to see how Flamingo helps solve this. And also, another exciting thing is that Flamingo introduces new sustainability reporting metrics. I would like for you to expand on these new capabilities, please.
All right. Thank you, Avi. So, like you said, most enterprise IT setups uh, have large number of islands of observability. Nobody plans for it, but that's what it ends up being. I mean, you essentially have a dedicated monitoring tool for every layer, every team that you have, and there are preferences that start playing in. All of these islands of observability eventually lead to islands of insights. And then the whole damn thing starts becoming very unidimensional, siloed, and starts becoming complicated. More and more dependence on tacit knowledge, people who are experts at understanding the behavior patterns that go across these silos, they start becoming prominent, and the whole thing becomes rigid as well as very difficult and resistant to change. Ignio definition of observability, like you said, is multidimensional to start with and very adaptive. We have augmented that with this release, and let me throw some light on it. So the Flamingo release augments every facet of these three-dimensional approach that we have. The vertical observability, which is pretty much the table stakes, the horizontal observability, which gets in the business context, business transactions, business function view, and last but not the least is the ability to adapt to change, leveraging the AI to get from the descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive analytics into the play. Because nothing in IT today is fixed, something keeps on changing every day, every week. As a result, the insights and inferences that people have drawn from years of looking at these systems need to adapt. And that's where ignio starts uh, playing into this, right? So, this release actually, if I can use the terminology melt, right, this release completes the melt quartet, if you will. A melt here means metrics, events, logs, and traces. All of these are playing into the vertical observability space. On the horizontal side, this release also strengthens the horizontal observability by enabling easier business transaction monitoring and makes the business function monitoring by introducing ability to deal with business KPIs and correlate them and predict along with the IT KPIs, which is the traditional realm of most enterprise IT setups. And for the adaptive observability part, all of these capabilities that make Ignio descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive have been strengthened in this release to enable more definitive diagnosis, more accurate predictions, and more comprehensive and assisted resolutions, to put it simply. Now, let's look at some of these details. So, if you look at this entire spectrum, this release enhances the observability coverage across all of these spectra. So starting with the infrastructure layer, it increases coverage by supporting more technologies at various infrastructure layer like servers, databases, network storage, and so on and so forth. Then at the cloud layer, it enables cost as another dimension. Most enterprises deal with performance capacity as a dimension for analyzing everything, but when multi-cloud systems start becoming prominent in your enterprise IT, cost becomes even more important dimension. And this release enables comprehensive cloud cost optimization across Azure, AWS, Google Cloud to start with. And this is a very important thing for enterprises who actually have embraced multi cloud setups. This release also expands the coverage on the cloud native applications by supporting Kubernetes monitoring and things like that on cloud environments. For the batch layer or the workload management layer, this release enables deeper visibility in batch issues by bringing visibility into the underneath infrastructure layer on which the batch jobs are running, for example. For the security layer, this release enables detection of misconfigurations, detection of deviations from expected configurations from a technology compliance point of view. This release brings one pane visibility into the complex life cycle of certificate management. Right, every enterprises every enterprise today struggles with this aspect, and this release brings in a great visibility into this whole aspect. This release also makes the entire pre-patching, patching, and post-patching activity transparent, definitive, and measurable. In the SAP layer, this release enhances the system health check, system health visibility by bringing in more T codes that makes it more comprehensive. This release also expands the IDOC management, master data management, and ABAP dump analysis features to on-prem SAP as well as S4 HANA. For the digital workspace layer, this release has many cool features, including sustainability reporting, endpoint security compliance, and software metering. Now, let's spend a little bit of time on understanding the sustainability part of it. In order to assist the enterprises, and most enterprises today are very, very sensitive to this topic of sustainability. In order to assist enterprises in their sustainability goals, this release enables the first step. The first step is actually measuring energy consumption of your end user endpoints, and not just only the energy consumption but also measure it along with the other utilization parameters. This measurement is also reported in terms of carbon emissions using regional standards to make it a little bit more compliant to standard sustainability reporting. And this individual endpoint visibility actually allows the enterprises not only to benchmark the consumption, say average consumption or median consumption across various regions and across various device types, but it also helps these enterprises identify energy hungry devices and look at them from a point of view of, are these the most utilized devices, or they simply are energy hungry because of something else, configuration, make, model, and so on. And this provides great insights into further taking actions to improve the overall sustainability scores. Now, that's not the only thing this release enables, right? From an end user point of view, the ignio DWS product also brings users into this sustainability loop by notifying the users of charging thresholds. By charging thresholds, I mean there is a high watermark. If the device keeps on charging beyond that high watermark, energy is being wasted. And of course, there is a low watermark. Any no charging below that watermark, you are likely to run into out of power situations. So, using these two watermarks and notifications, the users get advised to stop charging as soon as they hit that threshold, and also to restart charging upon breaching the lower threshold. This strategy is proven to reduce the overall energy consumption, and that's a great way of bringing even the end users and making them responsible for sustainability.
That's fantastic, Rahul. Thank you for that. Next, let's talk about how we leverage AI technologies to provide insights and recommendations. See, AI continues to be the core of how we have built intelligence across our ignio products and solutions. But this new vision of a ticketless operation seems to be a game changer. We're shifting the focus from service level agreements, which typically focuses on technical performances, to XLA or experience level agreements, that focuses on user experience. Also, with Flamingo, we have introduced AI Assist, Ignio's AI powered agent that uses Gen AI to automate responses to user queries. Raul, please take it from here, and why don't you give us an update on all the new additions, specifically the AI additions to Flamingo?
Right. So this release actually is the our first release for our ticketless enterprise vision. The idea actually is pretty simple if you look at it. Most enterprises use tickets to audit, track, and measure work items. By work items, I mean requests, changes, incidents, and so on and so forth. Typically, this is done to make the services measurable and in control of certain SLAs that get assigned to each of these services. More often, these SLAs get aligned to different severity and priority of work items. What happens eventually is these SLAs associated with tickets become the only KPI and the only vocabulary using which the enterprise IT really runs. And stability and real world end user experience start taking somewhat of a backseat. Our ticketless vision is everything about giving more prominence to stability and end user experience. It's not really trying to get rid of tickets as such. The tickets definitely remain there from an auditable record point of view. There are two major levers in this approach. One is to eliminate over automate, and the second is prevent over react. Now, lever one, what does it mean? All recurring issues happening in the enterprise that can be diagnosed to a root cause, it could be multiple root causes, and have a prescribable fix. These kind of issues are something that can be labeled as purely reactively handled issues. Now, lever one attempts to automatically identify all such candidates and, of course, provide all the required evidences to prove this hypothesis. These become prime candidates for elimination. Instead of fixing them continuously in a reactive mode, with or without automation, doesn't really matter. The idea is to really hit the real root cause and eliminate the problems from essentially happening ever again into our system. The second lever is all about all recurring issues that are very predictable, meaning they have a very high degree of temporal signature associated with them, but they may or may not have a diagnosable root cause, can be labeled as a purely predictable set of incidents. Now, these become prime candidates to notify the operations proactively before actually the pain minute starts so that they can put in timely fixes and prevent these issues from happening, right? So, both of these levers put together uh, eliminate a lot of incidents that would have normally been raised in your system and would have been handled reactively. Let's deep dive into each one of them a little bit more. So, first one, the eliminate over automate feature, right? So, Ignio looks at various sources of information or data like logs, events, metrics. It then identifies anomalies, leveraging the expected normal behavior that it has adaptively computed. These anomalies are then organized in terms of the Ignio blueprint dependencies. Ignio then performs event correlation on all of these detected anomalies to derive recurring signatures across these anomalies. Then Ignio performs sequence mining, reasoning, all sorts of things to localize the root causes for these signatures. Of course, in each of these steps, Ignio is gathering all the statistical evidence, support, coverage, all of that which is required to prove that the signature as well as root cause that has been mined is actually real from the data. uh, the functionality that is delivered in this release will mine all such signatures that are of interest, obviously, that have high recurrence and high confidence in the root cause. The prescription of action part is currently left up to the user. What I mean by that is Ignio will learn prescriptions given by users, learn from it, and provide them as a subsequent guidance for similar signatures. One more cool thing Ignio does in all of this is actually it groups these signatures into groups of similarity, and it uses various techniques to do that. This is of great help for actually prioritization of problem management. This way, many issues that are similar to each other can be eliminated with very similar fixes to the root causes, and that makes it very effective. Let me just take a quick example to sort of uh, make this point, right? Let's consider an application that is facing availability issues frequently. It has been observed that 10 minutes before this happens every time, response time of that application starts degrading. It has also been observed that 20 minutes before the response time degrades, the message queues start hitting the count limits. It has been observed that 30 minutes before this happens, the CPU utilization on this server starts becoming higher. And it has been observed that 40 minutes before this, a scheduled backup job on the application starts. Now, this signature happens with very high certainty, and the coverage of this root cause is almost 100%. Now the user may come in after seeing this signature that has been suggested by ignio for elimination, and say a very simplistic prescription fix like, okay, let me reschedule the backup job to a different period which is off for this application. Now ignio will learn this and maybe give this recommendation next time, not only for this but also for similar problem signatures it has mined. So this way, Ignio will provide on a continuous basis interesting problem management signatures for eliminating the issues along with the user prescribed recommendation of fixes. Now let's look at the other lever, prevent over react. The processing for this is very similar. Again, Ignio mines anomalies from logs, events, metrics across the blueprint, and it detects anomalies that have a temporal pattern of some kind. It repeats at a frequency which may be hour of day or day of week or week of year or any combination of those. Now, Ignio then determines the preconditions and correlations by mining associations across these patterns that it has detected. Now, then it converts all of these complex predictability pattern by using neural networks. Now, let me take another example and explain this. Right. So, a specific application issue is happening frequently. Maybe an application keeps on going down. Now, it is observed that Ignio has detected that with a lead time of up to 40 minutes, another consolidation action is being triggered on this particular application. And with a lead time of up to 30 minutes, core services start becoming slower. And a lead time of up to 20 minutes, the message queue length starts becoming higher than the normal threshold. And a lead time of up to 10 minutes, there is a high message volume observed on these queues, right? So this issue seems to happen at least once every 24 hours. uh, that's really the predictable signature Ignio has mined. Now, the team can leverage this information to prevent this issue from happening before it actually gets detected by the monitoring ecosystem and gets reported to the command center. This way, Ignio helps identify all predictable event signatures for early prediction and prevention. Now, let's quickly look at how this compares with the traditional problem management approach, right? So, traditional problem management approach looks at recurring incidents. Yes, check mark on both sides. Does it identify recurring anomalies across various sources of information like metrics, events, logs? No. Does it provide automated insights into problem management signatures across all of these layers? No. Does it perform root cause analysis? Of course, traditionally it is performed by people who have the necessary tacit knowledge to do this kind of analysis. But the ticketless operation feature actually makes it very, very easy. Does it learn from human expertise to recommend fixes? Traditionally, the human is expected to be the expert, and the expert is expected to deliver right recommendations every time. So there is no real learning happening in the system. Uh, does it identify predictable events? Traditionally, no. Does it recommend candidates for elimination? Yes, traditionally, because those are purely based on statistical volumes. Uh, and similarly, does it recommend candidates for prevention? The answer is simply no. So, this way, to put it simply, ability and effectiveness of problem management actually starts becoming what it should be. Now, let's look at the other feature, right? So, we call it AI assist. Uh, this is the next generation AI driven insights feature that is based on Gen AI. So, this is our first applied use case where we are using Gen AI on Ignio. The AI assist feature is targeted at Ignio users and Ignio architects. These people today leverage Ignio documentation and their experience to deploy Ignio, configure various features, configure various use cases, and deliver value there to their enterprise IT. They end up raising service request with the product support in case they are unable to figure out how to do something. Right? And this problem now is converted to sort of a self help using this AI assist feature. To start with, the AI assist is trained on entire Ignio documentation. It is also trained on Ignio how to recipes. It is also trained on Ignio knowledge articles for various service requests. This makes it extremely potent. Now, Ignio users or Ignio architects can ask the AI assist queries for configuring Ignio, and the AI assist will provide required guidance. It will not only provide a textual step by step guidance, but it also provides relevant links to Ignio documentation, which these people can click and refer to. The architects and users can also leverage the AI assist to ask for suggestions to improve something that has already been configured. So, for example, I want to improve uh, or increase my noise suppression. How do I do that? Today it is at 70% and I want to make it close to 90%. And the AI assist is also trained to actually give step by step guidance on how to improve pre configured things, right? Along with the relevant links to documentation, of course. AI assist also keeps on learning from user feedback naturally and continues to improve the quality of all of its answers.
Thanks, Rahul. Now to our final section. Our closed loop automation continues to be our differentiator, and many of our customers use our intelligent triaging and self help capabilities to transform their IT to become more autonomous. With Flamingo, we have leapfrogged the industry with adaptive noise reduction and on the fly self heal. Rahul, can you take us through this last section and tell us more about this and specifically the new Gen AI capabilities that we have introduced to help accelerate automation adoption?
Absolutely. So the Ignio event management feature is an important use case of Ignio. It is leveraged by most of our AIOps customer. This new feature that we have introduced of adaptive noise reduction makes this entire process of systematically improve noise reduction uh, into a assisted guided flow. This is done, of course, by leveraging machine learning AI to identify irrelevant incidents from historic data. What do I mean by irrelevant incidents? These are incidents that get raised, but nobody really does anything with them, or they simply get closed as no action required. Ignio puts all of this information and then starts deriving patterns from these. Are there any detectable patterns that can be leveraged for suppressing these incidents as irrelevant? And are these patterns having the necessary confidence and coverage scores, right? All of these patterns and the associated evidence then is presented uh, along with the confidence and coverage matrix to expert resolvers. These people then confirm some of these or could be all of these, and then these whatever gets confirmed gets operationalized. This process obviously can be run on a continuous basis to improve the noise reduction systematically. So one may start with ideally one may start with zero noise reduction, just leverage this feature on a weekly or a daily basis, and eventually get to your goal of 80-90% noise reduction smoothly. The second feature uh, is actually assisted triaging. uh, it's a major enhancement to the current ignio triaging capability. This feature adds another dimension of visibility to the whole root cause analysis process. Today's ignio triaging leverages a combination of real time health checks and health diagnosis. uh, Today, the triaging leverages the blueprint, the dependencies, ignios, fault, health check, and fix patterns to present a view of hierarchical triaging and probable causes. This metric watch addition brings additional metric level visibility into the same root cause analysis. Ignio now not only presents the traditional view of hierarchical triaging and health diagnostic and probable causes, but it also presents uh, the resolver ability to develop a more holistic understanding of the issue by presenting all relevant metrics uh, into the RCA hierarchical mix, right? So all the dependencies and all the relevant metrics that are either decaying or going up or going down or remaining the same, all of that also gets presented into this window where the incident happened, slightly before that and after that. There is also ability to sort of forecast the metrics ahead, so that one can develop a view of if the issue is going to further aggravate or it was only happening at that time. This actually makes the mean time to detect quite short and more definitive, and it also of course cuts the overall mean time to resolve as well. The next feature in this chain of intelligent event management is what we call as on the fly self heal. This provides once again a systematic assisted way of improving the resolution efficiency using ignio. There are several key insights that get computed into the as is state at a given point into the incident handling, the way it is running. For example, incidents that are happening on certain CIs or nodes, and these CIs are not really locatable from a point of view of what is the type of this CI is not really available in the ignio blueprint, or incidents where the fixes are available for an issue but the fixes have been disabled using certain policies overridden by some of the administrators, or incidents that don't really map to any known incident signature on the ignio side, or incidents that actually map but there is a fix missing on it, right? In each of these buckets, all the issues that not I mean that don't get effectively handled by ignio get classified into these four buckets and a few more. And then there is a guided flow for each of these buckets. For example, to go towards correcting the CI mapping or CI type mapping, or enabling the fixes, or defining new incident signature and associating that with a health check for a new incident type, or in the extreme case, ability to define a new fix for a given incident type. All of these flows can now directly be done on ignio itself, unlike the current mechanism of using ignio studio, then building the capability and upgrading it on ignio and then operationalizing. This flexibility now will allow much faster time to value by allowing ignio architects to improve ignio incident resolution efficiency on the fly in an assisted and guided manner. The next feature is actually another GenAI enabled feature. Again, this is aimed at reducing the time for building Ignio use cases. And in our beta results, we have seen upwards of 50% improvement in efficiency. The Ignio Code Accelerator allows Ignio developers to describe the use case in English at a very high level. Then the code accelerator actually auto generates the required code, and essentially the code is quite operationalizable, and the code also gets put and structured into ignio format. This makes it scalable, sustainable, and all of those engineering properties get assured. It doesn't stop there. The code also get auto documented so that one can share this as a procedure, and it's a little bit more readable for normal people. uh, so now let's look at some more facets of this in a little bit of detail. So the first part I explained, one can describe. So this feature is available and supports Bash, PowerShell, Groovy, PL/SQL, these kind of languages that are typically seen and used by ignio engineers to build various use cases. So this feature is invocable directly out of ignio studio, which is the IDE for ignio. So one can define the use case name, etc., and simply invoke this, give it the necessary description of what this should do, and then voila, you will get a code. One can visibly look at the code, ask the code accelerator. Now code accelerator obviously uses bunch of RAG, LLMs, and all of those nice things, and we ensure the correctness and validity of everything that we produce. It doesn't stop there. Many a times what happens, somebody has written or an existing use case, and it is probably written in PowerShell and it needs to be translated into Bash so that the same use case can be enabled on Linux platforms, or it is written in a traditional Groovy like syntax, and then which is not really scalable and sustainable from an ignio point of view, legacy use cases. Ignio allows now to translate those on the fly into the iWorkflow format so that you don't miss out on all of these nice things. The third facet of it is logic generator. Given any use case that is written in Bash, PowerShell, Groovy, PL/SQL, iWorkflow, Ignio code accelerator will generate documentation for this in terms of a pseudocode. It also puts in required comments at various loops and if then else statements in that. And this way you can actually, it becomes a lot more readable, maintainable, shareable. You may be able to share a pseudocode with somebody for reviews and things like that. So now, in summary, what does this release actually enable? Flamingo release enables four major streams. Right? The first stream is enhancing the three pillars of Ignio to strengthen the core of Ignio platform. The three pillars being unified observability, AI-driven insights, and automation. As we saw just now, a lot of new features have been added in each of these pillars, and that strengthens the core of Ignio. What does it do? Secondly, it enables faster time to value by leveraging a lot of Gen AI and assisted features so that the time to value shortens for every enterprise. The third thing is it expands the Ignio product spectrum by improving the coverage of Ignio across various layers of infrastructure, platforms, cloud, applications, batch, SAP, and so on and so forth. The fourth stream that it achieves is expanding into the adjacencies by applying the Ignio core features of unified observability, AI driven insights, and closed loop automation to the areas of end user computing or digital workspace, as we like to call it, software testing or AI assurance, as we like to call it, and cognitive procurement. So that's really the summary of Flamingo release.
Thank you, Rahul. And thank you, everyone, for staying with us through this webinar. We hope you found this content useful, and we would be happy to connect with you on questions and follow ups. This concludes our webinar, and hope you have a good rest of the day.